Hey, what's up, everybody? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. This is emergency episode. We are coming to you live from February 9th, 2023, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Holy heck, folks. If this is the first time you guys are tuning in, feel free to check us out on any podcasting platform. Feel free to join our Discord. I think that's how our intro normally goes. But hello. This is, like I mentioned earlier, this is an emergency part of the episode. Emergency episode. We are coming to you with hot breaking news that apparently Hybe is trying to become the largest shareholder of SM Entertainment. Apparently that is happening. For those of you guys in chat, say hi to YouTube. If you do not consent to being on YouTube, please let me know now. Or DM me or message me. I don't know. Do what you want. This will probably not be on our actual podcasting platforms, but we do podcasts once a week, every Tuesdays, normally record on Mondays. But here we are on a Thursday talking about what's going on with SM Entertainment, what's going on in the SM household. Here we are. Look. Last time we chatted in the actual episode 223, we talked about aligned partners getting support from other shareholders so that they can push the whole SM Entertainment 3.0 agenda. There has been a lot of updated news. We'll go through those, not in legal or financial detail because I'm not good at any of that, but we will talk about some of a brief overview of what's going on, some of the impact this is going to have on the culture, what I think you should think, that kind of deal. But so yeah, let's break it down. Let's see what's happening, right? So this 2 days ago, news broke that Kakao is wanting to buy 9% of SM Entertainment, which means they would become the second biggest shareholder after Mr. Lee Soo-man, right? That they apparently look at how much money they were trying to pay. Roughly $172.8 million to become the second largest shareholder in SM Entertainment. That is wild. So that seemed like that was happening. Kakao Entertainment, they've obviously been diving into, buying all these K-pop companies in the recent years. What kind of flew under the radar for a lot of folks is that Lee Soo-man, Mr. Lee Soo-man himself, he applied for what is called a 신주 발행금지 가처분 신청, which means basically, I don't know how to say it in English, but basically what happened is he went to court and he was like, hey, you guys can't let them do this. This is pause them on doing that. They should not be allowed to sell all their shares for whatever reason. I'm assuming there's a legal backing for them to able to do this. He apparently argued that they are doing this to influence who controls the company, and it is basically illegal. And he's just like, I sue them. Don't let them do this. That's a big part of today's story. So keep this on the back of your mind, because Kakao wants to buy 9% of SM. Mr. SM, previous number one shareholder, was like, nah, dude, no, we can't allow that. We're not letting them do that, right? In the background of all this, aligned partners actually has just a tiny bit of share, like 1% or so. The other 33% that we mentioned in the last episode actually came because they were like, they were just convincing the other shareholders. That's basically what happened, right? Okay, so 19 hours ago, so about a day ago, or yesterday in Korean time, the Korean Exchange was like, hey, we have heard some news. What are you guys doing? They asked Hybe. They were like, hey, what are you guys up to? You guys are clearly up to no good. What are you guys doing? Are you guys trying to buy SM Entertainment? Because there were some rumors floating around. They were like, hey, you gotta let us know, man. What's going on? Shortly after, Hybe was like, hey, like maybe they're like, we're just trying to figure this shit out, man. Like they're meeting with good feelings. That's basically what they were doing at this point. We're trying to, we're reviewing. Well, what do you want to do? We might not. Nobody knows at this point, right? Like, and they're like, So at this point, that's basically when Reddit and all the communities started blowing up. They were like, oh, Hybe. At this point, I was like, it's probably not going to happen, right? But it did. A couple hours ago, as of recording time. Or just this morning, as the day broke in Korea, Hybe purchased or made an offer to purchase 14.8% of all, I think that's all of, well, most of Lee Soo-man's shares in SM Entertainment, for a whopping amount of big boy money. I don't know how much. Shoot. I was on the Discord somewhere. I saw someone post it. 422.8 billion wons. Oh, my boy. Some big boy wons over here. Good God. Yes, $380 million. Holy shit. Oh, they bought it. Essentially, they applied to purchase it. And the reason that they stopped at 14.8% is, the reason they bought 14.8% is two reasons. One, anything above 15% needs to be approved by the court. Anything above 15, the court needs to look at it and go, hey, this is like, like they don't need to do that. This is effective. This is basically effective immediately if they want to be, right? The other part of this is that by purchasing 14.8%, they are now higher than the potential percentage rate of Kakao, which was earlier we said that's like what, 9%? 9%. So they are in the safe zone of becoming the top dog, the top shareholder, basically overnight, quite literally overnight, right? So basically that's what happened. That's basically what happened. At this point, we don't know what Kakao is gonna do. There's a possibility that Kakao wants to buy more in order to, play it up and become ties. Maybe also become number one big dog in SM Entertainment. Who knows? The word on the block is that Mr. SM went to Hybe so that, Align Partners and their boys and Kakao, they aren't the ones with the top amount of percentages, right? Top percentage, majority percentages. So at this point, a lot rides on how the court decides, on what the court decides on whether SM is allowed to sell their shares to Kakao. I guess it's not a huge matter given they already purchased more. Anyways, this kind of means that SM 3.0 is kind of out the window. The whole 30-minute video where Mr. Lee Soo-man's nephew and the other guy, that's just left the chat early. Here's some additional details on the Hybe deal. Apparently, Hybe has the right to purchase the remaining shares of Mr. Lee Soo-man within 1 year. Hybe will also purchase Lee Soo-man's private company, a stake in SM Brand Marketing, and a stake in Dreammaker Entertainment as well. So this is they're buying a lot of things. All right, Hybe owns 14.80%. Okay, Hybe owns 14.80%. Kakao owns 9.05. What's 국민연금 in English? Shoot. The Korean national pension. What national pension? Oh man. Owns 6.16%. KB Investment Funds. Oh god, these fonts are too big. No wonder they're 80. Okay. Cambian Investment Funds owns like what, like 5.13%, right? And then Mr. Lee Soo-man, he owns now a whopping 3.66%. Align Partners, like 1%, 1-ish. Let's be honest, who really gives a shit at this point, right? Essentially, at this point, I think it's pretty safe to consider SM like a chunk as like a part of Hybe rather than its own independent identity. Yes, Hybe is not the majority stakeholder in SM at the moment, but being number one kind of means a lot. Means you have a lot of influence and a lot of control over what the company decides to do. Obviously, the CEO and the COO, those two folks, they're still in charge. The people who presented the whole SM 3.0 thing, they're still in charge. What questions us, where we should raise the questions is whether they're still going to be able to, keep rolling on as if they always have. Given that there's other powers in the room now, right? So I think, Dave, that's what you and I were talking about earlier, right? We don't know at this point. Obviously, we don't. But I can't imagine Hybe is just going to sit there and watch SM do their thing in a pretty much one-to-one copy. Like that's that from a Hybe's perspective. They don't let them do that. The other 61%, I'm assuming, is owned by like other companies, individual stakeholders. Like SM is a public company. If I wanted to buy their share, I could. Same with Hybe, right? Anyways, that's where we are. Like I mentioned, this is probably going to develop even further. We still don't know whether this is gonna go through. Korean Exchange might look at that and go, "Hey, hold the fuck up," because to me, this is 50. This is half like a joke and half like kind of serious, but like this is kind of concerning. You know what I mean? Shoot, what's going on? It's kind of concerning. Think about that for a second. Because realistically speaking, right? Hybe's biggest competitor, whether you agree or disagree, I think has been SM Entertainment, right? Because SM Entertainment was recognized, I guess, as the biggest competitor to Hybe. I think it was fair to say like it seemed like those two are just going to compete as this next generation of K-pop goes for a ride. Especially given Hybe has been buddies with CJ this whole time, right? Obviously, I think Mal in the Discord earlier, someone on the Discord earlier was saying that JYP actually has more sales, which is true, but at the same time, I don't think you can ignore first of all, I don't think you can ignore like the influence that SM has had over the industry, over all these folks. That JYP and YG, I don't think they have. If anything, I could make a bigger argument for YG over JYP, given that they have control over Blackpink, and that is seen as, I would see them as like the second most big IP entity, if anything, in K-pop, right? So this is where I'm concerned. It really feels like I used to joke that we're in late stage capitalism, but we kind of really are now if you look at it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think here's the thing: Hybe and SM, they both do good stuff. They both fuck up somewhere. They're just companies. At the end of the day, that's what they are. They're there to make money. They will probably take shortcuts here and there. Some things they will do really, really well. But the issue is, like, what's not good for us from a consumer perspective is less competition. At the end of the day, having less competitors in the market is never good for us, especially in a culture that's so relevant to sales, the numbers, the money, where it goes, all that. Like especially with K-pop. Like if this, for instance, if this was rap, if this was the rap game, if this was hip hop culture, right? As a genre and as a culture, they the underdog tale and the underdog story is widely beloved. It's a core part of their culture where people actively look for it, and it is, to me, compared to K-pop, it's a lot more easier to achieve. And I'm not saying K-pop you can't have underdogs because Hybe was the underdog. BTS was the underdog. So it is definitely possible. But we were also in a situation where there was room for competition. If you have Hybe and SM taking up a big chunk of the market, they're not going to stop here. They're just going to keep buying shit. Let's be honest. If they keep buying stuff, there's less room for competition. That's less room for the underdogs to rise up. And that's basically room for JYP and YG to kind of slowly dry out into the air, right? The other side of that, which actually, Tug, you mentioned a really good point. SM does own Dear You and Bubble, right? Basically, we had Weavers. Basically, we have Dear You / Bubble. Having those two under the same legal entity, that's, again, from a tech perspective, that's also very concerning. Yes, Weavers is a well-made product. I'm not going to argue against that. Bubble, I have never used, so I don't know. Those two improve over time because they're competing. Now that they're not competing in a legal sense, very concerning. You know what I mean? Yes, SM's not just a music company, but also a broadcasting companies, model companies, and food. Yes, a big chunk of that is SMCNC. K-pop fans they often forget that SMCNC is a huge part of SM. Let me run down the list of people who are in there, because you would be surprised. Like Kang Ho-dong, y'all know Kang Ho-dong. He's in SMCNC he's in Knowing Bros, right? You know what I mean? Look at the list of A/S tier variety people. I'm just gonna go through their face. Kang Ho-dong is here, right? Lee Soo-man is here. Shin Dong-hyuk, I'm sure you've seen him. He's there. This other announcer dude, he's also there too. If you've seen I Live Alone, this comedian who does turkeys, this guy. You know him from Running Man. This Running Man dude, he's there too. This whole SM thing is a lot bigger than you actually think it is. You know what I mean? That's where I'm concerned. This is a huge chunk of not just K-pop, a huge chunk of the Korean entertainment business as a whole. So I understand, if you're a Hybe fan or an SM fan, you might be excited, you might be happy. You know what I mean? But if you really shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. You really should be looking at it as now Hybe and SM has no reason to improve on themselves. I mean, sure, they're still competing with YG and JYP. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying competition is dead, right? YG and JYP are still pushing out groups, right? But we're definitely headed in one direction, and we're not done. We're not done. YG does have a good roster of actors. That's also true. Starship is also true. I would argue SMCNC is one of the biggest ones. Also, not saying the other two don't produce shows or dramas, but SMCNC does a huge chunk of everything. What else? Isn't Hybe having the highest share better than Kakao enough, though? Maybe not as... Let's talk about Kakao. Actually, that's a very good question. Let's talk about Kakao. Because Kakao... Do you guys know what Kakao... You know what? Yeah, everybody knows what Kakao is. You know what Kakao Entertainment is? Kakao Entertainment was Kakao Talk trying to be a really big boy. Kakao talk, because Kakao Entertainment essentially at the end of the day was started off of our app called Kakao Talk, right? This is basically our version of Line / WeChat / Facebook Messenger, which is, I mean, there's a bunch of apps like that, like I'm sure if you guys have had like Korean friends and whatnot, you've downloaded Kakao Talk at some point, right? Everyone uses Kakao Talk in Korea. Yes, there is a very, very big monopoly in terms of smartphone messaging in Korea with Kakao Talk. And this is one of the stuff I'm like very unhappy about, because that's a huge reason Kakao Talk sucks ass. Like, you try out their app, you can't delete people. Like, straight up, you can hide people and you can block them, but you can't delete friends off of your friends list. What kind of app is that? You know what I mean? Anyways, Kakao Talk began like 2010-ish? And then, because they have this monopoly, they became really, really big. They made a lot of money. And they were like, hey, we're going to start expanding. What they started doing was expanding into their version of Uber Eats, their version of Maps. They started buying Down, which is like the second largest search engine in Korea, which, it's all tech, I guess. So it's like within the realm of what they do. It's like kind of like what Amazon is doing. You know what I mean? But then Amazon bought Whole Foods, and that's where you kind of start to raise a question, right? Kakao Entertainment was one of those. Kakao Entertainment was them basically saying, we're just gonna start expanding into whatever the fuck you want to, and we're just gonna go for it. So Kakao Entertainment essentially in the past decade or so of existence has I really am not sure about what they've done for this for this culture, for this industry. All they did was purchase companies and just keep them. What have they added of value to our community? You know what I mean? Take CJ for instance. We all love to shit on CJ, but at least they give us TV shows. They're doing something in this industry. They're doing something here. What has Kakao really done? Like, what have they changed? I'm not. There's only so much we can ask. Yeah, Kakao's the one that's actually playing Pokemon here. Distribution. Yes, Kakao actually distributes music. The issue with that is they're also running a streaming platform called Melon, because they purchased that off of other people too. That's always a big issue when you have distribution and streaming under the same label. That's a big fucking red flag. This is where the Korean Exchange isn't doing their fucking work. Yeah, Kakao owns Melon, and they also have their whole distribution Kakao thing. Bad. Especially bad for anyone who wants to be the underdog. Now, you guys are giving me a list of all the cool artists that are under Kakao M, under Lowen, Starship, cool folks. But they've been doing it without Kakao. You know what I mean? They've been doing it without Kakao. I'm sure Kakao's given them money, but it's not like Hybe, where Hybe came in and provided a lot of infrastructure to change up how these companies are able to do their thing. This is where I see it as a big difference. Kakao just bought a bunch of companies and just keep them. It's kind of similar to how CJ was buying a bunch of movie production companies back in the early 2000s. Not sure if that's a relevant analogy, but yeah. Kakao does produce TV shows like the virtual girl group show that you mentioned. But I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna look at that as the same level of production as something like Boys Planet 999. You know what I mean? Yes, and they're the company that's been doing shady shit with their Facebook page. So at the end of the day, I'm a little bit more happy that it went to Hybe and not Kakao. I am. I really, really am. Because as a whole, as a company, I'm not happy with what Kakao is doing. I'll be honest. Would you prefer SM to remain as is or be partially owned by Hybe? Independent. As much as I'm not a fan of SM 3.0 and the whole Align Partners fiasco, I would much prefer that over this. At least we're getting some level of competition. At least we're getting something. This is just straight up, just combination of entities. Not good for me. I think I missed the question earlier. Oh, Warren, do you think SM will be like Pletasource Music, or will they be kind of like a door? That's a really good question. I don't have an answer for, because none of Hybe's purchases has been at this scale and this level. You know what I mean? Like, sure, Hybe owns a lot of platforms, but yeah, they have KOZ, they have Hybe Japan, they have Pledis, they have Source Music, they have Blift, they have Big Hit. They work with Weverse, and they have all these solution platforms, which is a fancy way of saying, look at our different teams that can do consulting. Yes, Adore is here as well now. And I guess we're throwing in SM to the party as well. And if you look at this list, maybe Pledis, but none of them are at the scale of SM, because SM isn't just a media agency. Like you talked about earlier, they have a whole talent label with like actors and like comedians. They have a whole production side of things. They dabbled in the restaurant industry for some goddamn reason. Who knows? You know what I mean? At this point, it's difficult to say whether Hybe will run SM like they always have. But what I think will happen for the next 365 days, at least, or at least until the end of this year, SM will probably run as they always have. Because come on, Mr. Bang's gonna be busy. He's not gonna suddenly have time to run a whole nother company at this whole nother scale. I'm sure he has a team of people working for him that could help him with that. But you get the point, right? You get the point. If this was like Align Partners doing their thing, where they were trying to buy and like figure out the leadership for like over a year, sure, I would imagine Mr. Bang is gonna have influence over SM within the next month. But this happened too quickly at this point. Can you explain the power struggle between Lee Soo-man and his nephew? Maybe I missed it if you explained there. Sure, I can talk about that. Lee Soo-man has not been the CEO of SM Entertainment for a while. Lee Soo-man has been the head producer, executive producer of SM for a long, long time. But yeah, he's also the founder. But if you actually look at their thing, their CEO is a guy called Sungsoo. This is the lad. We can look at his Instagram. Okay, that's, ladies and gentlemen, is the nephew of Mr. Lee. The other Mr. Lee. They're both Mr. Lees. That's me, everybody! Sorry. No, this is Chris. I think his English name is Chris, apparently. That's his English Instagram tag. So, there you go. I think it is Lucas, yeah. Chris is the nephew of Mr. Lee Soo-man, right? He has been a producer there for a while, and then he became CEO. Shortly before he was CEO, he was the CEO of SM USA. There you go. The power struggle, we don't know when it started, per se. But what did happen, what we found out is that they've been buddies with the whole Align Partners folks. And what happened a couple weeks ago, or actually only a week ago, was that Align Partners came along. They convinced enough people, along with Mr. CEO Lee Sungsoo, that hey, we're going to start running SM our own way, and they decided to kick out Mr. SM. So at that point, Mr. SM, Mr. actual Lee Soo-man, Mr. Lee is like, oh shit, I'm being pushed out the door. Like, don't get me wrong, he was walking out like very, very slowly, but like at this point, Sungsoo was like, shoot, we're just gonna fucking push this guy. Yeah, the CEO guy, he is the nephew of Mr. Lee Soo-man. So that's where the family table is a little funky. If that makes any sense. So for all we know, he's still CEO. He's still CEO. He's like it's not like he's been kicked out yet. You know what I mean? Our good old Mr. Chris. Still here. So that's where like Dave had a point earlier. SM 3.0 still might be happening. Parts of it might. Who knows? Kimchi's laugh behind the scenes. Wait, how do you guys know that meme? What the heck? Oh, is that relevant in the West as well? This was back in Korean dramas that were like stupid, and then, like straight up they were doing stuff like this. Yeah, so this came from like one of the Korean soap operas that like moms like to watch. I don't know what's relevant in the West versus Korea. Yeah, this straight up came from like a Korean soap opera, where like apparently this is the son-in-law, this is the mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law heard something stupid from the son-in-law, so she's like, "Oh, I'm angry. Here, take my kimchi out of my bag." And then like at one point, Chloe Moretz was on SNL and she parodied that. There you go. It was some lady beating a dude with like a leak. And then this guy's leaking OJ out of his fucking mouth. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have for SM versus Hybe. A lot of this is still riding on whether what happens with Kakao and whether they purchase 9%. Because right now I'm gonna identify Kakao as the other side of the other side of the company that is like opposing Hybe. Kakao and Align have a bunch of other folks on their side. Right. You know what? SM versus the nephew is correct. It's essentially Mr. Lee versus the other Mr. Lee at this point, right? Because we have two sides to this partner. Mr. Lee Soo-man, Mr. Lee SM, and then Mr. Lee Chris. Mr. Lee SM is the uncle, and then Mr. Lee Chris, he's the nephew. Oh, shoot. Oh. Right. Mr. Lee SM has Hybe on his side. He has Align partners, 33+% of the company's support, which may have changed. He also has Kakao, ENT, pending legal outcome. So all of this is to say, if the whole Kakao deal, if that goes through, Hybe might not actually have that much influence over their company. Who knows, right? The thing is, Kakao could try to purchase more shares, but they just can't. They just can't. Like they can't purchase more shares at the moment because Mr. Lee SM put in a request legally saying, please print no more shares. All the shares that Hybe bought today were straight from Mr. Lee. Yeah. So whether this actually goes through, that's the big pivoter here. Would Hybe and Kakao throw money around to get the minor shareholder shares? Probably would, let's be honest. It seems like that's going to start mattering, especially because Align Partners was able to get the vocal support of the 33%, 30-ish% of the company. Realistically, do we think either of them will shoot to hit 50.01% though? Probably not. Probably not. Especially in the short term, probably not. Especially because anything over 15% needs to go through the legal process of like making sure this is not a monopoly, and we're kind of already there. Let's be honest. The Korean Exchange, the reason they were involved was like, oh, y'all are up to no good. We're stepping in, if you guys are. I'm expecting them to release something within the next like 48 hours. And I say 48 because they're slow as shit. Yeah. Who knows what Mr. Lee wanted to do? At this point, he's like Ghibli. He's kind of like Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki to me, where like it sounds like he's going to retire, but not at the same time. Like, is it really a monopoly though? No. Legally speaking, no. Culturally, we're like very close to it. Very, very close to it. Might as well stop it early before it like dives into like all that fucking mess, right? Anyways, what we should be worried about at the end of the day, we don't actually have any money in this. You know what I mean? We shouldn't worry about where our shares are going. If you have stocks for SM or Hybe, I'm sure you're very stressed out. But otherwise, we shouldn't worry about this. We should worry about what kind of music is coming out of these fucking companies at the end of the day. And the way I see it, if you're a JYP or YG stan, the short-term happiness, the way I see it, is that they're really going to try fucking hard now. They really got to put in their everything. So I'm going to imagine what we get in the next couple months, 2 years, is going to be their peak work because they're putting in all the effort that they can. They're going to milk themselves dry. That's where I see those two companies. Same goes, everything applies. Cube folks, Kakao folks, Woolen better fucking start working. Need a fucking Rocket Punch come back. That's all I'm asking for. No? I don't think I'm asking for a lot, but apparently I am. Who knows? If you are a SM stan or Hybe stan, pause. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening. If you're actually, if you're a Hybe fan, I'm sure you're excited. SM, especially if you're like a new generation SM fan that's like gotten into SM from like SPA onwards, raise your question marks, raise your flags, be on the lookout. We don't know what's gonna happen here. Things are definitely. I don't think things are not gonna change. They will be probably very similar for the next month, but probably not after a while. Adore's doing their own thing. Adore's doing their own thing, but we know that Adore is able to do their own thing because that's legally in their thing. Legally, they were like, oh, you can't control how we spend our money. You can't control when we do our comebacks. That's why TXT and like New Jeans kind of came back to back, right? That was in the whole interview that Adore did a while back. Yeah. If Adore purchases all of Hybe and SM shares, that'd be really ironic, given Adore came from SM. But yeah. On the general side of everything, we're seeing a huge change in the way competition works in this culture, in this industry, in this community. So I don't know. This, to me, there were already a lot of yellow flags. This is a burning orange flag. You know what I mean? Like a very, very dark. Like look at this. Like look at that color. That's gray. This is red, right? That's like a red flag. Yeah. That's like a red flag. That's okay. Okay, that's the flag color I'm getting with this industry. It's not red. I'm not gonna say it's a red flag, no, but it's damn dark. It's damn dark. For a lot of the companies that are like not directly involved in the whole SM hype thing, I'm gonna imagine they're gonna start working their asses off. They're gonna start working their asses off. So I don't know. Yeah, if you're for instance, if you're an IVE fan, like hopefully they're smart enough to like start releasing the hell out of their releases, good stuff only, bangers only, because they have a long way to go if they want to catch up and compete against Hybe, like realistically speaking. Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of the segment that we will cover for SM Entertainment and Hybe's whole fiasco. This whole news section we will cover again next week on Tuesday, on the episode that drops on Tuesday. That's episode 224. And I promise it'll be a lot more organized. I'm sure there will be a lot more developments. Doug actually knows all of these legal terms. I don't. I'm just reading shit off of the internet, I'll be honest. So who knows what'll happen? Anyways, all I'm saying is episode 224. Tune in there when it drops Tuesday, February 14th. I think that's 14th. But for now, that is all I have for YouTube. Okay, everybody say bye. Chat, say bye to YouTube. Bye. They signed a contract on February 8th to acquire 14.8% of the stakes. Or a lot of shares. And this is official now. SM Entertainment, largest shareholder and founder, former exec producer Lee Soo-man and Hybe's chairman Bang Si-hyuk has joined hands so that SM Entertainment and Hybe will become game changers in world popular music. Okay. Yep. Lee Soo-man has decided to transfer his shares to Hybe to begin a partnership with Hybe. They share a shared vision to implement the metaverse, establish a multi-label system, and vision campaigns to save the world. And Hybe will use its resources so that K-pop will enhance its standing in the global market. SM Entertainment is a resilient company that transformed the fast-changing music industry. Yada 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 yada. Buzz 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 buzz. At the center of all of SM Entertainment's achievements is Lee Soo-man. Respect. Actively cooperate in improving SM Entertainment's governance as well as its executive management. Lee Soo-man, while making the important decision to sell his shares, also supported Hybe's plans to purchase shares from minority shareholders. SM and Hybe will combine their capabilities to globalize K-pop, will create strong synergy. Buzz. Industry buzz, buzzwords. We ask that you support future of entertainment and let's have a create together. Thank you. Okay. All right. That was a chaotic couple minutes. Okay. Chaotic couple minutes. But here's what's going on. I think there should be 3 takeaways. First takeaway is that this deal is good. It's solid. It's set to go. It's happening. Unless the Korean Exchange suddenly decides, hey, we can't do this. This is happening. To be quite honest, I don't even know if they have the legal background to do it. But this is no more a request. It is an actual purchase. Okay. Well, I mean, we talked about all the implications of that earlier. But let's talk about 2 things, right? That we can take away from this press release. One is that Hybe shares SM's vision to implement the metaverse, establish a multi-label system, and vision campaigns to change the world. I don't know how they're saving the world over here, but the whole thing about the metaverse, whole thing about the multi-label system, everything they've talked about up until this point, I guess for now, it is all in the green light. I guess it's all still happening. I guess Black Mamba is still alive. I guess Novice will still debut. I guess aespa is still an 8-member group, not 4 members. Remember, they have the I members, all that fucking bullshit. Yeah. So I guess this goes back to what I said near the end of when we were talking about this, right? It does seem like SM will continue to go about doing their thing. And there's not going to be a huge difference in the way SM runs their shit for a while. This vision is shared right now. It'll probably be shared for next week, month, half a year. Who knows? But who knows what's going to happen after that. So, I wouldn't take this. I would take this with a bit of a grain of salt is all I'm trying to say. Next part of all this is that the third takeaway is that Mr. SM supports Hybe's plans to purchase shares from minority shareholders. So they're not done. They're not done with 14.8%. They're not done. I guess that's what they're going for. I guess that's like the end game for these folks. I guess they're going for it. Yeah, this is a big middle finger towards the nephew, aligned partners, Kakao for that matter, because when Kakao bought 9%, Mr. Lee Soo-man requested that they stop printing shares to the government. This one he's like willing to release a shared press release with, you know. Is there anything else crazy that's going on? I hope not. I'm gonna go look on r/Kpop real quick. Oh, okay. Okay. This is not over. All right, we have a follow-up, folks. You have official release from Mr. Sungsoo and Tak Youngjun, co-CEOs of SM Entertainment. They denounced Lee Soo-man and Bang Si-hyuk's latest move as a hostile acquisition of SM Entertainment. They got shot first, now they shoot back. That was like a shooting duel at this point. Oh yeah, this is a big no-no. Gandhi's elephants are in the fucking room. Okay, let's go through it. They released a statement. The statement reflects the collective positions of 25 chief directors at SM Entertainment, including co-CEOs Lee Sung-soo, Tak Young-jun, as well as all the other officers who hold positions above division chief. 25 chief directors? That's a lot of fucking directors. Good lord. Anyways, back on February 3rd, SM announced plans to enter its new key phase, SM 3.0. Transitioning from... Okay, they said they do all that, but it is being reported that hostile merger and acquisition attempts are being carried out. Attempts, which not only undermine SM's much deliberated decision, but also the values of SM Entertainment, which it has built up alongside its artists all these years. SM is a company made of approximately 600 employees. That's a lot. Working hard each day in the hopes of raising SM's status to the #1 entertainment company. Okay, yada 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 yada. We're working hard. We want to do 3.0. The strategic partnership between SM Entertainment and Kakao, publicly announced on February 7th, marks a move in securing the necessary components to fulfill SM 3.0. The partnership is sure to demonstrate a powerful synergy effect in strengthening the global reach of SM's IP content with various applications. This vision for a mutually beneficial strategic partnership has been discussed and agreed upon thoroughly with Kakao. Thus, we would like to stress that the strategic partnership with Kakao was a management decision which we felt was necessary for the fulfillment of SM 3.0, and thus, the partnership plays no significant role in the so-called management battle which our company's largest shareholder insists on undertaking. Apparently, Hybe wants to purchase 40%, up to 40% of shares. I'm gonna need a source on that. Hybe purchased 14.8%. They want to purchase an additional 25 up till March 1st. This means they will have up to a final number of 40% by March 1st. They, as in Hybe, owning SM Entertainment, 40% of. This industry official is saying that this purchase of 14.8% happened likely because you can purchase up to 15% at a time without a prior approval. they're gonna need some permissions from high ups in the country to purchase the rest of the 25%. They're gonna need to pay up some premium for that. They're gonna need to pay an additional fee for all that. But it's gonna happen. Okay. We're clearly not done with this. The only comment I have to make about this situation is that these two folks acknowledge that this is a hostile acquisition, and that Lee Soo-man thinks it is a management battle. I'm not sure if they actually believe it. I'm not sure if they actually believe that this is a management battle of all things. Chris over here looking kind of funky in his weird suit. Where's your collar on your dress shirt, man? Anyways. They better get Kakao through if they really want to fucking win. I'm not really rooting for anybody at this given point. I guess if I had to pick a side, Mr. Bong with Hybe. It seems like either one is inevitable at this point. Not that it's a lot better. I'm still not fond of this acquisition. Same. I would prefer that nobody gets involved. Like I was already concerned when Online was getting involved with all their fucking multi-labeled fiasco. This just keeps getting worse and worse. We'll have to see how this develops. We'll have to see how this develops. God. I'm gonna imagine we keep getting news all night about this. But we probably won't see anything major about it, given that we thought this was gonna happen. It happened. The Korean Exchange might say something. That's about it. Cause they kind of know Hybe was trying to fucking do something, and they saw it coming. Okay, well.